What do you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about the MP3 framework.
It's launch day.
It's launch day. I'm exhausted.
It's like the second launch day.
Yeah, so it's interesting because everyone keeps being like, how's it going? And it's like, well, we did a flash sale last week and everyone who was 100% gonna buy bought. Like, all the fence sitters now are left. Generally, I mean, I got 75 people to buy in the flash sale last week because I put a limit on it, and that was exciting. It was time bound and it was quantity bound. Which we can talk about the strategy of that in a second. But generally with a launch, I've launched like 5 products now. Usually the launch sale time frame is 3 to 5 days, and the first and the last day are always the biggest. It bookends. The middle is kind of like whatever you see, stragglers. So the first day was basically last week. So that was the flash sale. So this is day 2. Day 2 notoriously sucks. Like, yeah. Everyone's excited day 1, and then day 2, you're dealing with fence sitters. And these people need proof. Like, they need to be like, prove to me that this is worth my money. I want to buy it, but you got to prove it to me. And you can't get that proof until people start using it and get you social feedback.
The bookend concept is fascinating because, well, there's 2 things here.
Yeah.
There's like 2 things at play. One is there's the group of people, the super consumers of you and your work and the stuff, who are going to buy no matter what.
Yep.
Those people bought in the pre-sale,
yep.
Not necessarily launch. And pre-sale this is the first time you've done a pre-sale, and you created scarcity and urgency by capping it at 75 people.
Yeah.
And you put a 24-hour shot clock on it.
I've done pre-sales before, but I've never capped it by. I've done one other pre-sale for
it's like, hey, the product's not ready.
It's not ready.
You cannot have it right now,
but you can grab it at like a super discount for 24 hours. So I've capped it by shot clock. I like that phrase. I'm going to use that now.
Good.
So I've shot clocked it, but I've never. What's like a good verb for quantity limited it?
Ceiling.
Okay, I've never put a ceiling. So I've never had a pre-sale do this well. It's crazy.
I think the scarcity and urgency are the 2 craziest levers, and this is why the bookend thing that you are articulating exists.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no urgency to buy unless the sale ends in 10 minutes.
Exactly.
That's it. Like, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. When the sale ends today, all the people who are like, okay, I'll do it. Like, they have no reason to do it. They will sit on the fence until you kick them off.
Yeah.
And we've experienced that with this program. And we've come up with ways to introduce scarcity and urgency into the purchase process to people who would probably otherwise have sat on the fence.
Yeah.
For a while.
Talk to people about what we've done recently that's worked in the past few days for full stack, just to switch products really quickly.
Yeah. So one of the things that I experienced, this isn't like a novel idea, by the way. This is just, we were scratching our heads trying to figure out how do we introduce a little bit more urgency into the sale, because people can do it whenever, right? This isn't a cohort. There's rolling enrollment, and that by design is not very urgent. Because we didn't want to continue to launch for all the reasons that you're articulating, right? It's fucking exhausting.
It's exhausting.
So we introduced a shot clock, like a fast action discount, to the purchasing process now, which people have done to me. And I was always like, damn, this is such a good idea. And I never thought much of it until now.
It's so hard to do the things that work on you. I don't know why. You just don't.
Well, you don't think about
it, right?
It's so deep, buried deep into your subconscious that you don't realize what's happening until it's already happened.
Yeah.
Or when you're in the situation, scratch your head going, how do I introduce urgency to a thing that is not very urgent in this way?
Right.
Like, people find the problem urgent, but just like the urgency to join a group coaching program about it versus all the other different ways that people could solve the problem. That's the thing. So we've introduced a shot clock to the purchase process of full stack, and that has made a massive difference. Could you do it in a service-based business? I think so.
Maybe.
I think so.
We should
I've seen
probably have you seen people do it? I was gonna say we should run a
yeah.
test. Tell me about what you've
Yeah,
seen.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure Premium Ghostwriting Academy has it. So that's more like a that's like it tilts it's a similar model in which there's like a course and then they have group calls, but I would think it like leans heavier into this service because they do like 5 calls a week or something crazy. Like they do a lot of calls,
Mm,
but the program's like 6 grand. And I'm pretty sure they introduced like a shot clock where they're like, right after you get off the call with the salesperson, they're like, we reward people who take action. If you want like $1,000 off the program, you can get it within the first, if you buy within the next 24 hours.
yeah.
And I might be embellishing this one a bit, but I'm fairly certain that they do that. I have never seen someone do it for a straight up consulting service. I think that might minimize. I would think that minimizes a lot of your power as a consultant
Yeah.
for sure. Um, I've seen people like the agencies tend to do some of this. Like if you sign in the next 24 hours, we'll give you a free blog post or something stupid. And you're like, you'll get an extra blog post for signing soon. And it's like you're just driving your value into the ground on that front. But
Yeah. I'm trying to
um,
think, like, how would I respond if I wanted coaching
it's a pressure, right?
and
Like
the
people
coach was
don't like.
like, if you wanna work with me and you choose to in the next 24 hours, you can get a discount. Like, I don't know if that would incentivize me in the same way.
I don't think people particularly appreciate pressure in that type of sales environment. When you're talking
Yeah.
about products, like this is kind of the name of the game when you're selling products
Right.
because there's it's a traffic based thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a volume play and it doesn't have to be more complicated than that.
Right.
When you're talking about
Yeah, yeah.
relationships in a more traditional considered sales process
Yeah.
or like a consideration based sales process for a buyer, like that, the pressure would probably turn people off.
I agree. Yeah, that would feel weird.
Yeah.
It's so
I know.
interesting how the relationship versus the product is so different.
Yeah. Especially the price point of the product
Yeah.
matters. So I think what's full price on MP3 Content Engine?
It'll be 249,
249. What'd you sell the pre-launch for?
149,
What's the launch price?
174. So it was 50% off and now it's 30% off.
Hmm.
The reason why you wanna price it higher than potentially the value is so that the launch goes better than expected because you need to be able to discount a product by at least 30% for it to matter.
Yeah. We got told that when we launched Full Stack. They were like,
Yeah,
"That's not that great
it
of a
wasn't
discount."
enough. I
It
agree, yeah.
wasn't enough.
Yeah, that was a
And
mistake.
did we leave money on the table? Maybe.
Yeah.
Um, I do think I think the price of Full Stack was always gonna be in flux. I don't think we'll ever necessarily land on, like, the perfect number, but
Yeah.
I don't know because but the price also determines the type of people you get,
Mhm.
right? Same with whether it's consulting services or products. I think products in the full stack space, we didn't wanna go much lower than that launch price because if we did, you kinda end up with the wrong people.
Right.
We wanted to price out people who were looking for more, like, digital course.
Right.
That was an by design. So, anyway, back to the MP3 framework launch. Okay, so it's technically day 1 of regular launch,
Yep.
but you captured all that interest in
Yep.
pre-launch.
So, here's how I expect it's gonna play out. We'll see if this matches reality. I expect today is gonna be quite slow, especially now. It is already. So the stats at the moment are, um, I've made 776 today from it, and I've sold 4. Wait, or 3. It's my stats are skewed because I think I did 3 test buys to test my cart, so I think I sold 4. Um, and in comparison, the launch I sold the pre-sale I did flash sale, I did 75. So by this point in the flash sale, I'd already sold like 20 plus.
Hmm.
So I've sold 4, right? So it's significantly lower. But this is to be expected because
Yeah.
this is gonna be much harder now until like I said, people that are not super consumers now need to be convinced that this is worth it. I've also had an email, someone asked me, "What's the difference between this and Launch Content Playbook?" So another thing with my audience is this is my 5th course. Like, people are like, "I've bought things from you before, like,
D
how is this different?" Right?
do you think there's an element of just fatigue? They're like, "There's so many products."
Potentially, which is why I wanna downplay as part of my, like, strategy moving forward, I wanna downplay all the other courses I made and really focus on this and, like, maybe other ones that you and I build together or something, but everything I did, I don't regret it, it got me to this point, but it is scattered, there's too many options, there's too many choices, there's too many ways to learn from me. It's not a great place. I've diluted my audience now in terms of, like, what the hell I teach and how I teach it.
Do you feel like you will sunset some of these your earlier products?
I don't know. That's, something I'm seriously considering. People love them and they get value from them, so the idea of, like, not selling them anymore is weird, but I also think it could I have to weigh, like, people getting random value from random courses versus an offer ladder that makes sense, right? And I think I'm leaning towards an offer ladder that makes sense. I don't wanna have 1,000 products. I wanna have 1 or 2 very specific low ticket things that lead up to full stack, that lead up to high ticket. Like, I want all roads to lead to full stack.
Mhm. I wonder if there's a play here that consolidates everything into one. I know you sell the bundle, but, like, to recompile things where it's just, like, it's all the stuff.
Mhm.
It's hooks, it's editing, it's launch, it's the engine. Like, it's
Yeah.
just, like, there's just one Erica Schneider product.
I've thought about that too. Um,
How many courses do you sell on it, like, on a month? Just like a normal month?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Uh, Less than 5.
No, I think that's the tough thing. It's like, is I mean, hey, selling 5 courses and doing nothing doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Like, when I say do it nothing, like, it's just there are people who are kinda in your orbit who decide to act on it.
Mhm.
That doesn't suck at all.
Yeah, I know. But they don't lead anywhere.
Right.
At all. Like, even though
They're isolated
each one
and
of them has, "Oh, like, next you can go to Content Spot," like, or you can go to whatever, like, it's got places, but they don't lead anywhere except solving that specific problem, which again is good in one sense, but not good in terms of being in any type of funnel with me.
true.
So, this is all just, like, I just wanna take a step back and remind people that are listening, like, this is all part of the messy journey. Like, there is no perfect world where you create the perfect low ticket offer or reverse engineer it. You create the perfect high ticket offer and then you create the perfect mid ticket and you create the perfect low ticket or vice versa. Like, this doesn't exist. If you see something that looks extremely polished, that is either being the messy middle is either being hidden or or
They're years
or
and
they're
years
years
and
and years
years
ahead
in.
of where I am now, so they've just wiped it from existence and you just can't find it anymore. But this is inevitable. From everyone that I know and everyone I speak to, like, this is inevitable. You will launch things that you will then sunset, you will need to pivot, you'll have to get people into certain things. It's just how it goes.
Yeah. I don't I mean, I see value in doing both things. I think there's like, for example, we've kicked around the idea of just including them in full stack
Mhm.
and just making it all part of the thing. Like, they're just bonuses in full stack now. Obviously, like, Rob is involved with those, so it's like a different
Yeah.
it's a different it's more than just like a, "Sure, let's just do that" conversation, but, they have a lot of value. The question is, like, how do you part it out, and where do you point people? I do think The more interesting thing about the MP3 uh content engine that you're doing now
Mhm.
is that it's not a course.
Yeah, it's not a
It's a product.
course. That's the
It's a
cool
product. That's like the best part about it. It
that's
was
the
like
coolest part.
build this thing. Don't make 500 videos. You don't need like the equivalent of like 50 blog posts of explanation
Yeah,
for people to go through the thing one by one. I mean, yeah, you had to put a bunch of like, here's how to use this tool.
yeah.
And there's a bunch of videos in there, but it's it's a product. It's
That's my
not
favorite part
a
about it.
course.
I'm sick of courses, if I'm being honest. Like, that's why full stack is the explanations are so short. It's like, get a quick explanation, go do some shit, and then let's like jam through it on the calls,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Because the jamming is where the magic
exactly.
happens. It's like how you get through it.
Like
It's
I
not
bought
through
a course
watching the
recently. I don't
video.
want to say whose it was, but I bought one recently. It was just too much. I looked at it and I immediately felt overwhelmed and I was like, okay, I've had to scroll more than once to get to all these lessons. Like I can't. And I just that's the
Yeah.
experience that I know a lot of people have. Um and even though most of my courses are kind of short on purpose, I, it's just a lot. Like, you know, there's just I don't know if it's just me in my phase of life right now or if this is what I'm hearing in my echo chamber, but I think people are kind of tired of
Course fatigue
this
is
course
real.
fatigue is real, information overload is real. You know, you can get so many answers just from asking Claude shit these days, you know? So I don't want to sit down and watch something for 5 hours and then have to do like a bunch of execution alone. Like,
Yeah, I don't have
I
5
don't have
hours to
five
do anything.
hours.
I think that was part of the reason we built full stack the way that we did was like, here's like a single training.
Yeah.
Here's a single exercise. Do that one thing. If you can accomplish that one thing,
Yeah. 100%.
then that's cool. Like, I mean, I've talked about how I'm in the Category Design Academy
Yeah.
right now. That was a $10,000 cohort. And even then, I find myself, I do all of their trainings. Their trainings are video based.
Mhm.
Basically, there's very little text based training. Like, there's some,
Mhm.
but it's mostly like 15-minute videos of them more so in an environment like this where they're just kind of jamming on a topic and they took the segment that they talked about and turned it into the training.
That's cool.
And then I watch all those trainings every week that they release them.
But that's the thing, they
And
release it one by one, so it kills the overwhelm unless you get super behind.
I've definitely have fallen behind at times, but then like I just watch 3 15-minute videos while I'm doing the dishes at night. Like it's not like I'm
Yeah.
doing whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's not the worst thing to try to catch up, but they do have exercises that I look at, but I don't really do them.
Mhm.
And so there's definitely something there. And so it's like the engagement model, right? Like how do you dial that in to make a thing? But like all that to say is the price point doesn't necessarily determine like whether or not people are going to do the thing. The value is in like, hey, here's the thinking, like understand and internalize the thinking, and then they do calls every, so many every like other week or something.
Yeah.
And it's like I show up to every single call, every one that I possibly that I can attend if I'm not doing something else.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's like that's really where all the value is because we can work through the idea, and I don't have to sit there and like look at a worksheet necessarily.
I don't have time or brain space to look at a worksheet. Like but if I knew that but if it was something I was extremely motivated to figure out and I was feeling a lot of pain, I would definitely do like a little bit and then join the calls and get clarity on it for sure.
Yeah,
But it has to match the level of pain that I'm feeling and like my desire to get it done. And that's the hardest part
yeah,
about all of this. But anyway, this MP3 engine is not a course. It is a implementation system to capture ideas and then create content from them. And so I'm hoping it becomes like a bookmark in people's everyday content creation journey.
yeah. It's a pretty wild
Are
tool.
you in there?
Yeah,
It's
it's
insane.
nuts. It's humongous. It's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's why it took
I
so
remember
fucking
the
long.
original version that we started kicking around a while ago, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like this is pretty straightforward." Not that this one isn't, but it's just like there's a lot.
Yeah.
There is a lot here, which is great.
Once you get used to it, It's really not, but it's just one of those things where, like, everything that's new feels a little bit scary and confusing at first, and then you do it a few times and you're like, "Oh, it's not that much."
Right, right, right. I wanna see I feel like you really thought through
Everything.
everything, like
Natasha, by the
de-aging
way,
and
shout out
scrap
to
insights.
Natasha if you're listening. Like, she and I spent we must have spent at least 4 hours of synchronous calls on this besides all the hours of async, just talking through, "Okay, user experience. Someone clicks here. What's the easiest thing for them to do next? Now what should happen next? Now where should they go next?" Like, it was just like I felt like I was building an app. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it basically is an app.
Yeah. Which is interesting
Yeah,
because I did say out loud, like, with Launch Content Playbook a couple months ago, I was like, "I feel like this
yeah.
could be an app, and I wish it was." And then I just went and built my own version of something. This is not launch content, but I can easily build something like this for launch content too, and I'm going to for full stack people.
I think there's going to be basically, like there is a launch to me is like a tilt on the MP3 framework,
Mhm.
though. It's not like a totally separate thing, it's just it's you have the angles. It's like it's just a the instead of the angle is challenge accepted wisdom, the angle is something's coming,
It's
right?
just
Like
it's just it's the exact same thing, it's just there's just different plays. An
yeah,
angle is basically a play,
yeah,
and it's just I just need to add more plays in here and label them launch or something, and then you can use it for both.
yeah. And honestly, you could probably for the savvy to look at this, to look at some of these insights, and for the savvy, I think it might almost be even you could just turn it into launch content yourself.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
For the savvy, it is most certainly doable.
You can turn this into whatever you want. Like, once you duplicate it, it's yours, which is also
Yeah.
really cool.
Once you realize how it works.
Yeah, I think the value of something like this is just gonna grow with time, which is cool. Because normally it's the opposite with courses. It's exciting, like, you get the information, you feel value, and then it's like, "Well, what do I kinda do?" And this is gonna be the opposite. You're gonna be like, "Wait," and then you're gonna get more used to it, and then you're gonna do all the insights, you're gonna go to the content engine and realize there's 20 fucking templates that you can then
Mhm.
build content with, and it's like, "Oh, shit, there's a lot here too."
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot in here.
I haven't slept in weeks.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It literally and, like, to just something as simple as, like, writing out all the different templates. How many angles are in here? Let's see.
20.
There's 20 angles. So it's 20 separate templates that you, um
20 templates, 20 high level outlines, 20 detailed outlines, and then what's 20 times so there's 8 parts of a detailed outline. So 8 times 20 is what? 8 times 20. So there's 160 parts of outlines, and then each one of those has 5 examples. So there's like 800 examples in there if I just did that math right, which I probably did not. But there's a lot of fucking examples.
I also like the, old school iPod rolling problem process proof.
I'm obsessed with it. Emily Court for the win. I was like, "Dude, it's called MP3. Should we go retro?" And she was like, "Let me have a play." And she sent it to me and I was like, "This is it." She got it on the first try.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. It literally the only thing it's missing is a click wheel.
I know. It really brings me back. And if you did you notice if on like all the video buttons, it's like a mini version of that? Like you can make your own emoji in Notion, which Natasha told me.
All the video buttons, there's
Like click on MP3.
like the welcome
Do you
oh,
see
yeah, look
that?
at that.
It's a little emoji of it.
Look at that.
So cute.
That's hilarious.
I know.
You should you should, that should be everywhere. I want more of those. I, like, want every icon on every page to be that.
I know. Dude, when we
That's nice.
like cuz we're going to use this now for our full stack content engine. So we can create little flags, pirate flags as well for
Oh, hell yeah.
buttons. Like we can go crazy.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. Okay, how does this affect things? How does this affect life for you? Because this is bigger than just, like, quick cash injection, although that is nice.
Yeah, it's
That's a
nice, but
nice it's not the
it's not the
thing. It
goal.
is right? So how does this come together for you beyond selling this individually? Obviously, we're gonna give it to everyone inside of Full Stack. It's gonna
Mhm.
be part of the thing, which we'll have to embed into the onboarding flow.
Mhm.
Um, how does this work for you? And, like, us in content sparring too.
Yeah. So basically, this is gonna be the workbook for content sparring, except I'm just gonna need like one page above it, like a level higher, that's like your tasks and your calls and things like that, and then like click into the engine. But I imagine that this was this was born. Let's talk about the origin story from this before I answer that question of like what's next for me, because
An origin
I
story.
want people to understand why I just spent months of my life not sleeping to build this. Uh, and I want to reverse engineer how this happened, and then I can talk about what my plans for it and my business are. So this happened because when we were building full stack, you were like, there's only 4 ways to create content. Market the problem, market the process, market the proof, and build a series or something.
I think I said it was, like, so much dumber than that. There was market the problem, there was, like, a series, there was proof, and there was I think I, like, dumped all of the oh, build in public, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
so it was build in public series, problem proof.
Mhm.
And then I went on a podcast and I aerated it. So I went on Jane Sarah's podcast and she was like, "How do you think about creating content?" And I was like, "Well, actually, I think about it from this new lens recently." And I said those 4 things and something felt kind of weird in my gut when it came to the series versus build in public. It all kind of felt the same. So I paid attention to that feeling and was like, "What how else could we make this like fit better?" And then I had a chat with Claude, which is what I do what I do recently.
Good buddy
Good
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 Claude.
buddy, good Claude. And I just like chatted through it with AI and I was like, "Look, like this is what we were thinking, but like these all kind of feel like whatever." And it helped me come up with problem process proof. And then I chatted with Claude about the name and we came up with MP3 framework together. So it all came from you being like, "These are the kind of things that I do." And then I took that and was like, "Oh shit. Like there's so much potential here." And I just ran with it.
Well, originally and I shared the link at some point, I was like, "Here's the original document that showed all the examples that I compiled between both of our content."
Yeah.
Like, both of our LinkedIn feeds was like, "Alright, here's all the shit we're making, like, how do I categorize this into things that matter?"
Yep.
And I was like I was calling it a new lens on content marketing for solopreneurs.
Where did this come from
And
though originally in your head? Like what happened before you put that together?
I was like, "What the fuck are we supposed to write about?" When we were building Full Stack, we were like, "Okay." The original I think Full Stack originally was, um, the original content engine, one of the questions was like, what to write about.
Yeah, what should
Or
you
like
write
one of
up?
the prompts we had was like, "All right, when we're gonna build out this second skill or this, like, second phase of this thing,"
Yeah.
we're like, "Okay, well, what are we gonna like, we need people to create content. What are they gonna write about?"
Yeah.
And it's like, that's always question number 1 on anyone's mind.
Right.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of people trying to answer that question for people. I mean, there's a lot of programs and shit out there and ways to think about it. And then you were like, the thing that hit you was you said death to pillars. You're like, pillars just don't cut it in this
They
way.
don't.
And I think I don't have any opinions the on pillars the way that you do. And this is also why like pillars are like a strategic approach or whatever. It's just like a I don't even think it's a strategic approach. I think it's just a
TLDR, like
tactical.
pillars work for companies, they don't work for people. Like that's really
Yeah.
the TLDR of it.
I mean, it's just like a tactical way of categorizing content in your head, and I just think it's not effective. Yeah, I think it's just
It's the wrong
I think
way.
it's the wrong
Yeah.
approach. That's why I was like, "Oh, this is a new lens on content marketing,"
Yeah.
because pillars don't guide you. Like, you can make up your pillars. You can be like, I want to write about fucking personal branding today, and it's like, don't get me started on that. I picked the worst topic because I'll rant about it. Um, I'm gonna write about my kids today. This thing that happened to me over the weekend when I took my kids to the park, and
Mhm.
it's like that's not helpful
Yeah.
in the most direct sense, in the most traditional, in like the most obvious ways. Uh, so it's like, all right, well, how are we going to deal with this? Well, there's really three things you can write about. You can write about problem you solve. You can write about the process in which you take to solve it, and we can write about the proof that this shit fucking
It's
works.
just so simple, like, I just can't, like, get over how amazing it is. This is the only way I think about content now.
So Devin Reed emailed us though.
Yeah.
Devin Reed emailed us, and he was like, I like this, but where does like I love sneakers, I'm a dad, like I share a lot of content around like things like that.
Mhm.
Where does this fit in? And I found angles. Oh, and he has like sponsorship deals. He also has like brand partnerships and sponsors that he like creates content for them. He's like, where does all this shit fit in? And I like came up with a way to fit it in, but he was very nice and he emailed us back and was like, yeah, but like I don't know.
I mean,
He
yeah,
was just
like,
like,
I
he's like, I get where you're coming from, but like, I just don't agree. Like in that way, he goes, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And he's like, I like this, I love this approach, but I'm just gonna keep doing this and I'm gonna have a pillar or whatever. I want to call it Devin. And I was like, all right, we're gonna call this the fourth P, market the person, and he goes, all right, like 4P for D Reed.
yeah, look, let me just squash this right now because I I don't believe that, like, sneaker posts or, like, the shit that you ate with your kids over the weekend or, like, potty training or whatever the fuck, like, none of that fits into any strategy except, like, the being a human and chatting about random shit on social strategy.
Like
Like, that's
I'm a real
I'm a
person.
real person and this is social media, and on social media we share real things occasionally. Like, you're not going to send an entire email about your new shoes. I mean, maybe if you like are selling them, you want people, like, generally you're not going to send a whole email about the things you did on the weekend. Like, it might be part of it, but like the stuff that you say about your life doesn't fit into any strategy except just be a fucking human, and also that works well on social media. Like,
Right. It's
there's
the
no
social
there's no
part.
pillar that's like talk about sneakers. Like, there's no pillar that's like talk about my kids. There's no MP3 framework, that it doesn't work. So that, to me, like, content lives in two buckets: strategic content, and then just like be a fucking human about your life if you want to share shit, but you don't have to content. And
Okay,
I don't think we have to,
content that makes you money
yeah.
and everything else.
I just don't think that I don't think that all of that stuff needs to fit inside of a box. I think that it's just something that is part, like, you can talk about your shoes in a problem post, a process post, or a like, it doesn't matter. You can talk about, you can mention it as your humanness as part of anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Let's go into this example of sneakers more deeply. Like, Devin shared a video of him and Brendan Hufford buying shoes.
Right.
They like went to this like sneaker
But
store.
it's way more than that. It wasn't just like I'm buying a random pair of shoes and I'm posting it. Like, he put his like logo on them and shit.
I don't know. I think they just went to the store and bought some
Well,
shoes,
yeah,
and they were like hanging out,
but I think that that
talking about
was,
like what kind of shoes they like.
yeah, but that was priming because then he got like a
Did the
shoe deal.
well? Oh, maybe that would have been
No,
cool.
he did. I
Oh, I don't
read
know
all of
about
his
that.
content.
I didn't. Well, here's the other thing. Like, it was promo for the podcast that he did with Brendan
Right, and that
also.
too.
So it's like not so like where does that stuff like all right, so even if it is about shoes, but it's promo for the podcast they did with Brendan, like where would like people look at that and they go like it's not one of the things. Like how do you justify it? And that was kind of where I was like, is there like a market the person thing where you're just like, hey, remember I still am I'm not just a little dot on it on LinkedIn. Like I'm
Mhm.
a real human person. And I don't I don't do a lot of that. You do a lot of that. People get on calls and say they feel like they know you. People don't really say that to me
But you don't
because I don't
you
'cause I
know
don't
what?
do the
Like, I
thing.
honestly think all of the stuff that you said about, like, Devin and Brendan buying shoes, I think that's all process shit. Like, it's behind the scenes of your journey, behind the scenes of your podcast, like, it's just promotional process stuff.
Yeah,
And people feel like they
fair.
don't know you the way that they know me because you don't share anything about your personal life.
This is very true.
Like
I share, like, a little bit on the podcast on, like, the other show I do.
like, the most that people know about you is that, like, you have 2 kids and one of them is potty training, and that's, like, private information to people on the podcast. Like, you don't talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
You don't put pictures of your family up there, like, Devin Reed's got pictures of his family up there all the time. Like, you don't share life milestones. You talk about solopreneurs,
Yeah.
and that's why I feel like the personal stuff does not need to live inside of any type of strategic bucket because you can run
Mm,
a very successful business, a volume business or a relationship business without ever talking about it. And you are proof of that.
true. Well, I guess the whole thing is, like, on a Saturday, you can post, like, "Went to the park." Like, I think of this post that Devin did where he was just like, "I'm at the park." He did there was, like, a picture of him at the park. I don't know if his kids were in it, but
Hmm.
that was why he was there. He didn't go to the park for fun.
Yeah. But like
But
he, like,
I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, I have more." So this is oh, shit, motherfucker, this is so much more in that moment, I was like, "Oh, I have a lot more in common with Devin than I thought."
yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
too go to the park on Saturdays with my kid and push this little tiny dictator on the swings. Like
Yeah, exactly. Because he's also showing one of the process angles in the MP3 engine is values in action. And
mm,
it shows your values as a human in action. And Devin talks a lot about being a dad and being a dad who actually gives a shit about his family and his kids and like not, and this also the struggles of like being the breadwinner and how much time do you spend with your kids and all the guilt. Like I talked to him about that on the podcast too. Like those are values in action. And
yeah,
when people share those things, it makes you feel like you know them more. And like if you have aligned values, you feel more connected to them and then you're probably more likely to buy. Like again, like I classify that as process, but I don't think it has to fit in a box either.
true. This is good. This is I don't think I'm gonna do it, but this is good.
You don't, and that's the thing, you don't have to. Like that's the beauty of this kind of stuff. You don't have to.
Yeah,
Especially if you're in the game of relationships where like you want to get people on calls and then they feel like they get to know you from your wisdom on calls and like they just need to feel seen by you. They don't have to necessarily see you. They just have to feel seen by you.
yeah. I saw a post the other day that, like, it was like, "I'm the founder of a $30 million company. This is my whole day." And it was like 5 AM all the way till he goes to sleep at like 10 o'clock at night. And it was like the whole day was work, 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 work. And then it was like 9 or 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. family time,
Mhm, mhm.
9 p.m. bed. And I was like, you spend an hour a day with your family. Like, this is it?
Yeah.
30 million bucks and I mean, like, cool, but an hour? I was like, I feel bad for you, dude.
Yeah, and
I
so
just
are you less likely to give that guy money?
I mean, I don't think he's in my like, he's selling
Would
something
that
that
affect your relationship selling with him? Like,
I didn't think much of it in that way. I just was like, this was like I don't know where I'm going with this. I just felt really bad for this person. Like, this person
I'm
was like, "Family's super important to me. I spend an hour a day with them." And I was like, "What?"
I know, but like I'm asking you that question because these are the subtle things that do influence our purchase decisions, whether we know it consciously or not. And I've seen Devin Reed do the exact opposite post of that, where he shared his whole day. And like he's got spots with his kids in the morning and at lunch and at night.
Yeah,
And
same.
right, exactly. And that aligns with how you and I live our lives too. And so we're more likely to surround ourselves with people and want to support people like that because it just matters. Usually, I mean, not all the time. Like definitely matters less with low ticket products, but when it gets to higher ticket and you're actually gonna be spending time
True.
with this person, like you want your values to be more aligned generally.
Yeah. And you are the people you surround yourself with, even if that is, like, your digital surroundings.
Yeah. Why do you think
Like, if
everyone
you're
in
s
full stack is so fucking cool? Because
'Cause they hang out with
Because they
us.
hang out with us and like we attracted our tribe, you know?
True. You know, one person I'll say, one of the things when Kenny joined, Kenny was like, because I told him my situation when I went out on my own and how I had to, like, build a business while, like, being a dad and doing like, my family stuff and, like, the state of my family at the time. I was like, "I think it just might be helpful for you to like, hear this from
Mhm.
me because this is what I did, and this is like, we were in a similar situation kinda."
Yeah.
In some ways, like, just as dads and just trying to, like, do the family thing while also doing the business thing. And he was like, "Yo, like, that story meant a lot because, like, I feel like we're in a very similar like, we're swimming in the same seas here,
Right.
just trying to do a thing, doing this type of thing." And that was that took me back because I was like, "Oh, I never thought about telling that story telling that story would have an effect on anyone like that."
Mhm.
Um,
And this proves my point.
this proves your point. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
were right.
Like you
You're definitely
market
right
the
about this.
process and share your values. You just do it with your voice on sales calls instead of with your hands in
I
content.
just don't put it on LinkedIn.
But it doesn't matter because you're in the relationship game generally. However, we are also now in the volume game now that you've partnered with me on this. So
Mhm.
I might push you
Yeah, do it.
to share some of these things because it just works. It attracts people. It makes people feel like they know you and like they want to hang out with you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for I see a lot of like this idea of thinking to yourself, "Oh, I can see a lot of myself in
Mhm.
that."
Mhm.
Like I have other than liking Devin Reed's content and thinking he just seems like a cool dude.
He is an
Uh,
extremely cool dude. Like it's so annoying how
I'm
how
interviewing him
cool
next
he
week.
is.
I'm interviewing him next week, so I'm gonna
He's
find out. But like,
such a cool dude.
but other than that, I was like, I don't like. I never really crossed. I was like, oh, I don't know if I have like that much in common with this person, other than like we're both people on the internet, type of thing. So I think there's a lot. There's more here than I have definitely given it credit for.
I think so.
So all right, we've dug into this rabbit hole
Yeah.
very deep.
Mhm.
Shout out Devin Reed
Yeah.
for half
So
podcast
I
episode.
actually surprisingly, even though I'm on 3 hours of sleep, I remember how this started and I think I can close the loop.
Close
So,
it.
I was talking about the origin of why the MP3 engine exists in the first
Right.
place. And we only got as far as the origin story. But the other half of it is when I met you, you helped me figure out content sparring and you were like, you need a workbook. And but for the whole first 6 to 9 months of content sparring, I did not have a workbook. I just had people bring their content and we jammed through it live, which is fine, but then it doesn't really leave you in a place where you can see any progress, and by the time it's over, like, you've absorbed things, but it's hard to understand the value. So I like, after going through your workbook, like, I get it. So I made a workbook, and it sucked. Like, it was not good. But this is the process, like, I used the workbook with paying clients, and I told them, "This is new, and it kind of sucks, but I'm testing it, and I would appreciate your feedback." And I got a lot of feedback and I quickly iterated as I do. So you have to have an irrational bias towards action. You can't be scared of fucking up and getting feedback that it sucks as long as you fix it right away.
It's
And then
gonna suck.
you
You just
give it,
have to
yeah,
accept
and then
it.
you give it to the people even if they stop working with you. Like I just sent the MP3 engine to someone who was a content sparring client that stopped working with me because she experienced the bad workbook and I wanted her to now have the good one. Like
You're like, "I need to make this
you have
right."
to make it right, right? So it was the pain of having a bad workbook that made me create this engine. So that's the story. Now back to your original question 30 minutes ago about what's what's happening with my business. I want to downplay my other courses. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work yet, but I'm going to rewrite my welcome email to my newsletter. I want to get everyone familiar with the MP3 strategy. I want you and I to own that IP, and I want people to buy the implementation. Then I want them to start using it, and I want them to realize that there's going to be 3 subsets of people. People that can completely take it and run with it and do it without me. People that have an offer but are stuck and really want to like have me do it with them. That'll be content sparring, and that can expand beyond just this. It can be launch content, it can be way more strategy, whatever, fine, but we'll use this as the workbook as well. And then there's going to be people who start to use this and create content and fall into the trap of full stack solo people, which is, like I actually don't have the right offer, or I don't have an offer, or I don't have a refined offer, and it's not going to work that well unless they do that. So there's going to be paths for those people. You can either come up to
Mm,
content sparring, or you can come over to full stack. And I'm going to push full stack harder because that's the volume play. I want content sparring to be like, I want to make it so that I get to really choose who I work with and I don't need it, you know?
yeah.
So that's the dream. And then I don't know what happens with the other courses, but I don't want to confuse people. Like I have these other things if they want to go horizontally deeper into any of the things that make content great, like hooks and editing and whatever, but I want people to really go up instead of over.
Well, I think as you're saying this, one, I love a good offer ladder, so I'm in.
Mhm.
Uh, all right. If I were to try and help you figure this out
Mhm.
as a client, I would ask you, what do you want to be known for?
I
Is
want
it
yes.
editing
No,
or is it the MP3
it's the
framework?
MP3 framework.
Then I think you have your
Yeah.
answer.
So it's completely shifted and I didn't have this clarity until we started full stack. But I don't want to be known for editing anymore because editing lives in execution land and I want to live more in strategy land, which is what what's his name was saying at the mini course,
Max,
Max.
yeah.
Like you want to always start by selling strategy and then execution can be part of it.
That's why strategy is phase 1
Yeah,
of the how do you solve this, like the 4-phase journey that we
exactly.
teach, right? Like it's all the same thinking. But the whole point is like I th- is it possible that you're hanging on to some of these other courses because you've put a lot of sweat equity into them and they're like your babies, and for you to just be like to delete your baby from the internet
Yeah.
seems like it hurts. It feels
Oh
weird.
yeah, it's
But
gonna be a
like
process for sure. Like I'm not gonna do it tomorrow, but I want to do it sooner rather than later.
I mean, honestly, know what you do is you put a shot clock on them and say, "Hey, by April 15th is the last day you will ever be able to buy these courses
Mm,
because they're going away forever because that's not my thing anymore."
yeah,
Right? They now you have scarcity and urgency to buy this once more,
yeah, that's true.
right?
And it would make my life a lot fucking easier if I could just roll up those courses into full stack, and it's just you just get all that and full
Yeah,
stack and content sparring. Like you get all the frameworks, you get all the hook stuff, like you get all that stuff when you come up a little bit higher in my programs.
yeah. I have been thinking about this and I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but it's like all private clients should just get auto enrolled into full stack. Like there's a ton of great stuff in there. Like why not just enroll them in it?
I don't know. Some people hate
I guess that's the other
hate
thing.
it. That's why.
It's like a nice perk, but I guess yeah.
No,
Some people are like,
I think
no,
we've asked some people and they're like, "No, I don't wanna be anywhere near a
that's
group."
true. They're like, I don't want to be anywhere near a group. That's why I'm not in the group.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. It's
fair.
overwhelming. It's like another thing you have to remember and
Yeah, for people who
notifications.
just like don't operate well in groups. Well, either way though, like in order to become known for the expertise you own, sometimes that means amputating
Mhm.
something
I'm more than happy to
else.
amputate it. Like, and this is all again part of the journey. I came as a head of content where I was catering to freelance writers when I started. Content editing 101 is mainly purchased by freelance writers living in blogland, and I don't live there anymore, and I don't want to.
Well, it just doesn't amount to the thing that you
It doesn't
want
lead
to now.
anywhere. It's not
I
it's
mean,
just
it could if you were a professional editor or
I don't
whatever,
wanna be
but
anymore. I don't wanna
yeah,
be.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think, and that's okay. But here's the aha for me. You changed things, and zero people have messaged you and been like, "What happened?"
Yeah. That's because
No
I've done it
one's thinking
gradually
about it.
over time, and I've been open and honest about it the whole time because I've marketed the process, which is why it's such an important P.
Just you are Snoop Dogg, and nobody cares. That's the whole thing. You have to reinvent yourself, and also nobody cares. Like no one's paying attention.
Right. Also, there's like 1,000 people that are helping freelance writers in blogland, and they're in good hands. They don't need me.
Also true. But I think the MP3 content engine, I mean, I have never seen a piece of IP. get that much attention in that
Me either.
way.
That's why we're gonna write the book.
Yeah, so here's like a fun thing. So I want to talk about the move to Substack quick, and then I guess we can wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Um, we migrated the podcast to Substack for one big reason. Gives us a platform to publish long form, what we'll call mini books. Those mini books will be compiled into big books. And so the first book is going to be the MP3 content process, or the MP3 content engine, whatever we want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But this gives us the platform to be able to do that.
I'm so
Basically
excited.
write a book in public. Yeah, I'm super excited to do
Like,
this.
I want to just own this IP like crazy. I want it to be the thing that we're known for. Like, we've created a content strategy. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Like, how many people are going to buy the MP3 content engine as a book, and they're going to read it, and they're going to go, I'm doing the MP3. Like, think about that. It's like a crazy thought that
Yeah.
when they're going to be like, what are you doing? They're going to say, some people say story brand. Some
Yeah.
people say whatever the fuck. Some people are going to say, I'm doing MP3.
I know.
And that's pretty crazy to think.
I know. That's why I can't. That's why I can't even wait. Like, now that this launch is over, I mean, all the hard work is over. Like, it's all I can think about now is getting this Substack up and running. So excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited for Substack to be like the media arm of Full Stack,
Yeah.
because one, it gives us some land to build on that's not LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
It gives us new mediums to create in. So like we'll be able to publish videos, we publish audio, we can publish long form text. There's like tweet style shit you can post there too. So like there's a lot more, you got a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited because this just means the book is coming. And this is the first of many books, which is even crazier to think about.
That's so cool. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. It's all good things happening, but like, I'm glad we're documenting the process because in a year, we're going to be so much farther ahead than we are now. And people are going to look at us and be like, wow, you have all your shit together. And
I want to be like, listen to this
listen to the
podcast from
podcast.
March 28th, 2025, where we're like just scratching the surface of trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, how long has Full Stack been around now? 6 months? It was, we launched
November.
November, so December, January, February, March, so 4 months. Like 4 full months.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We've come a long way since the first month.
Yeah.
It's going to keep evolving.
Yeah, I think just while we were talking, someone new joined Full Stack, so I think we have eclipsed 70.
Oh shit.
We've finally hit 70 members.
Did we? Do we count?
70.
Yeah, 70. Do we count in that count?
I don't know if we count in that count. I think we do.
Okay.
Filter. I don't know.
I've always
I don't know
wondered.
if it can.
Scrolling.
I think we do count. I think we do count as
Oh yeah, we're in here.
in the 70. Well, hey, we're members too.
Yeah, we are members too. I've just always wondered, but that is epic. That's exciting to see that number there.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about. And so we have, I think I want once we're at 100, like that milestone to me, once we get to 100, I want to do that before, like, I think we can get there before like half the 6-month mark.
Yeah, I mean, with this new squeeze, did we even tell people what it was, or did we just gloss over it?
We talked about just putting a shot. We talked about this.
Well,
like,
we've
what
got
it
a
is.
shot clock on it, but there's a shot clock after the sales call now where you have 24 hours to buy and you get a $200 discount.
Yeah,
which is
that's
huge.
the shot clock.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that?
We didn't mention the specifics. I don't think we said it was 200 off.
Yeah, it's 200 off.
So,
but now that we know, here's like the test part of this. Now that we know that this system works, we are going to raise the price of Full Stack again, and then use the shot clock as to get the price down to the 1,000.
Yeah, or $9.99.
Yeah, so it'll be like 1,200, get down to 1,000
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with all this. So, and because I was like, is this gonna work? And it has worked. I think it didn't work with one. There was only one that declined the offer, and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Out of the last 5 or 10, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're cooking now.
It's awesome.
We're cooking." So, this is just part of the mess, just figuring shit out. I don't know, there's no other way to do it,
Yeah.
other than just try and figure it out. So, there's more to come on the pricing side of full stack. To be clear too, we have considered, like, how do we time bound this thing to a 4-month program? The $1,000, 4 months, and then it's 150 a month after that to stay a part of the group coaching, get the mini courses and all the shit that we release, all that stuff. And as of right now, that's the thing,
Mhm.
but it's hard to know if that's, like, what we're going with, but it's hard to know if that's really gonna pan out the way that we hope it will.
Yeah, we don't know yet because no one's reached that limit.
No one's
So
reached
we'll
that 4-month
see
mark.
after they reach that if they wanna stick around or not, and that'll inform what we do.
Yeah, that'll inform what comes next. Like, can we create enough recurring value between the calls, basically between all the calls, right? Between the mini courses and the group coaching sessions, because at that point, people aren't necessarily revisiting the curriculum, right? It's like, is it worth $150 a month to stay plugged into the tribe?
Right.
You know, we've gotten some feedback from some highly engaged members that they want more access to the community and doing something in Slack
Yeah.
where they can have more just like chat based stuff. Like there is a chat you can DM inside of school, but it's not quite what people are looking for. And it's hard to say. I mean, we definitely didn't necessarily set out to build a community, but if there's more interest in this idea
Mhm.
of saying, like, can we get more access to each other and collaborate more closely with each other, then I think there's a lot
I
of
think that's a
value.
pretty strong signal that we've picked up a few times now.
Yeah, for sure. It's just hard to know, like, what's like, we've picked up a few times from the supers of
Right.
full stack.
Right.
And I guess, hey, the strategy is build programs for your super consumers.
Right.
That's true. So
Sure
more to
I'm
come
sure
there.
Slack is in the near future.
I would not be shocked if we move all comms from school into Slack in the near future,
Yeah.
but that's a whole other thing that more to come on that.
More to come.
We'll see. Actually, if you hear this, if you've made it, 57 minutes into us yapping, and you're in full stack, tell us if you want to go to if you want the comms to stay in school or if you'd prefer it in Slack.
Yeah.
You can send us a note on school. You can leave a comment on Substack now, so you can tell us there. There'll probably be a post promoting this episode inside of school, so you can tell us there.
There's so many places to reach us.
That's the problem, I guess.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I guess that's really the problem. So tell us somewhere, and then we will we will figure out what to do from there. So, all right, let's land this plane, Erica.
All right. So, the one other thing that I've been doing is I've been tracking all of my launch content for this launch in a Notion page. And when the launch is over, I will share that with all of you so that you can look at the behind the scenes of all the content that drove to this. So
Okay.
that's the last thing. I'll keep everyone posted on the stats.
This is important, and I don't want to like restart a conversation here, but I'm gonna anyway because this is really important.
Okay.
This is digital sawdust.
Yep.
Right? The fact that you did this, I wish I knew about this before you did, just now.
Why?
Because you can sell this as an upsell to the MP3 Content Engine.
You don't think
can
I've already thought of that?
I'm saying in the checkout, it's like when someone buys it, the
It's not
MP3
ready
Content
yet,
Engine,
though.
it doesn't need to be ready. The whole point is like in 2 weeks, there will be, it's like $100 add-on, and they get access to the launch playbook that you ran
Mhm.
and a webinar type of thing to, like, I know you're doing a webinar already for this other thing, but like
Yeah.
the launch blueprint and to walk people through that process of exactly like every LinkedIn post, every email, every nook and cranny of how you launched it. Like I've seen people do this a lot, and it's like you can sell that digital
I'm
sawdust
going to.
to the like, but I'm saying just right in the checkout experience.
Well,
That was
right now I've
that's
got a bump that I actually was considering taking down. I've got a, like a
that's
s
what I'm saying, like a order bump.
I
Yeah.
have a bump at the moment.
What's the bump?
It's get the MP3 engine plus guided implementation with a couple calls with me for
Mm.
1,400, and I've got that next to the 174 on the landing page to make the 174 look really hot.
Uh, that's a decent or that's a
And I'm
decent bump.
and I'm limiting it to 10 people.
Okay. Okay.
But it's only on the landing page. I haven't mentioned it in any emails because if I'm being honest, I forgot until this moment that I even set that up. But it is there. So when you go to the checkout and
It prompts
you hit
you.
I want to buy, it prompts you, it brings up a whole other page that's like you can buy this. And no one's
Mm.
taken me up on it yet, but I did it on purpose to test if more people bought the low ticket because it's next to a high ticket.
Mm. There's a thought process here of like an upsell downsell thing.
Mhm.
If they don't take that, downsell them to this other thing. This is what I love about Samcart that we're using to for the full stack checkout is there's so many
So you can
options.
upsell and downsell?
Oh yeah, if
I
they
think you can
decline the upsell,
downsell. Oh, that's so interesting because yeah, oh shit,
or
you can downsell
basically
in Thrivecart too.
whatever you want to call it, upsell, downsell. The whole point is like you can just keep offering different order bumps.
Okay, I'm
So
gonna
it's like,
create,
do
you
you
know
want
what,
to add
Nick?
on a few implementation calls? Yes or no? No. Do you
Yeah.
want to add on this like this webinar for us to walk through the entire launch play to show you how we sold 75 seats to this program or 75
Yeah.
versions of this offer without actually even having a physical
Yeah.
offer built?
Okay, I'm gonna
Like,
build this downsell right now because I did not know that that was a possibility.
yeah, why not?
And I'm
Why not
gonna
try it?
let me send you the when we hang up, I'm gonna send you the dashboard thing I built. It's really fucking
Yeah.
cool. Got like all
That's
these
what I'm saying. Like it's
charts and
probably super cool. So it's like give them access to that, and then there's like a workshop for you to walk people through it to share how
yeah.
you did it because other people want to see how the sausage is made. So like $50, even if it was $25, like it'll take you
I'm gonna sell it for
for
25, I think.
yeah, and it's like an hour of people of your life,
Yeah.
and then you share that Notion doc with them on the call. And it's like, here's like the playbook that I ran. Here's all the stuff. Let me walk you through this step by step. Here's the some things coming post. Or here's me figuring out that MP3 people cared about it. Blah 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 blah. Blah. And you go through
Mhm.
the whole
Mhm.
thing,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
like people want to see that stuff because they need you to like just spell it out for them.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
And you
I
can
love
even
this because
hit up all the people who bought it and be like, "Hey, upsell," like, not well, you wouldn't say upsell, but like, "Hey, like, for all the people that bought this thing, we're doing this other thing. If you
yeah.
wanna do, you can add it on here."
I'm definitely gonna do that. The thing that worries me and that is sort of potentially playing out today, although there's a lot of factors playing out today. I don't if you give people too many things to click in an email, they're less likely to take action. So
Oh, I
I
know.
gave
I
them a
we
lot of
experienced
shit.
that
Yeah.
with the Max Trailer mini course.
I gave them a lot today. I gave them buy the course, and then I gave them 200 off full stack, and then also there's a full stack webinar, and then also next Thursday there's a thing. So that's that could be another reason why people are overwhelmed and not buying, but it's not necessarily affecting clicks because if I look at my dashboard, um 88 people have gone to the page, although I think I'm like 11 of those. But anyway, let's call it 70 people have clicked through. That's a good amount of people. Um
Yeah. Well,
anyway, there's just a
I
thousand
think the order
factors.
bump but the order bump, like, lives in the checkout experience. Like, once they click buy,
Yeah.
the sale is done no matter what they do next.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, do you wanna add this thing for an additional $25? Like, that's versus adding an extra link in your email. Does that make
I
sense?
agree. Yeah, that's why the order bump right now lives there.
That's
Um
okay.
it
You were
lives
talking
it
about a bunch of links in your email, and so I just wanna make sure,
yeah,
like,
that's
what I
I
was
think that's
thinking was
part of
clear.
why I didn't even mention it in the email because I was like I can't mention another thing.
No, I wouldn't bother.
I'm going to do this downsell though. This is really interesting. Um
Yeah. Down try it. I wanna do this. I wanna come up with other down like, upsells and downsells for things like full stack because I'm like, I wanna just test this thing, and I haven't really come up with anything great, so I haven't done much with it yet.
mhm.
We're just now dabbling with like time bound incentives and
Yeah,
shit like that. But like I want to figure out like can we add on more customized like more hand holding,
yeah,
right? Can we get more handsy and more time with people to work the thing out? It's like, could we upsell people to monthly, hour-long one-on-ones
right.
or quarterly and try to mash that into it type of thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but these are the things I'm thinking about in terms of like how do we reshape.
It's so interesting because options are so good and they can also be so bad. So you have to really find that perfect balance.
100%. Okay, that's I don't that was the I'm glad we opened that up. I didn't think I
Oh,
thought we were gonna be here for about 30 more minutes, but I'm glad it only took 5.
okay. Also, not to not to go crazy, but I asked Claude last night, based on everything you know about me and my new course, can you give me some bonus ideas? And it gave me 10 like really good bonus ideas for this. So we should just ask Claude the same thing about full stack.
That's how I got the bonuses for full stack today. I said, "What were all the reasons that someone hasn't purchased or wouldn't purchase this based on all, like, the calls that we had?" And then it helped me format, like,
Yeah.
the fast track implementation blueprint and some
I
of the other
just
stuff, but I'm
love
sure we can
Claude.
revisit them and
Let's
update
just
them.
revisit them. I absolutely love Claude. I don't know what
Yeah.
I would do without Claude in my life.
Yeah, I know. We're pretty close.
All right, let's wrap it.
Alright, till next time.
Till next time.